Hey, welcome back again. This is the video on the time travel feature of the iceberg. So, like other file format that we discussed in previous videos, is the hoodie support that file historical state of a table, right? You can run historical queries and find the status of the table, what was the few months back or like few days back. The same kind of time travel features available in the iceberg too, and and we discussed in the previous section that whenever we make an updates to a table, a snapshot gets created every time, right? So if you see this one, whenever the table gets created, a snapshot version created, and then some update happen, another snapshot version s1 is got created out of that. So this snapshotting information will help us to go back to the previous state of the query. So this each snapshot will have a unique ID. We can get that unique ID on this snapshot and use that information to query the a specific snapshot. So that is what called the actual the time travel. So the order is goes like this. So when you created the first time the table, a snapshot one gets created. When you inserted some data into the table, a snapshot 2 got created. And when you do another update on the table, a snapshot get created. So, and your queries can, queries you file to this table can be retrieve the data from any state, any one of them. And the normal queries that we are executing is always give the latest snapshot. But if you wanted to go back to the previous snapshot, you can get the previous snapshot of the table using the historical queries. So we'll go in detail how can we generate create a history for the table and then query it. So for that one, I have created a package structure called the time travel in the GitHub code that you are downloaded in my from my GitHub repo. So here I'm going to create a plain table using a partitioning as a city column. So I'm creating a tables Uber trips with some details of the column names, and then I'm creating partition by. So let's see what will happen. So before that, first let's go and see that under the time travel directory what is there. So under the time traveled Spark warehouse, okay, here I here I don't have anything. So I'm going to welcome back. So I'm going to create a table under this directory as a warehouse directory with the path pointing to the time travel, and we'll see that table structure and the metadata and how we can query it. So I'm creating the table for the first time. Let me go and run it very quickly. So this is going to run. It just takes few seconds to finish it. Yeah, it's created the table. So now you see that time table is showing up here. So if I go here, inside that I have the Uber database. Trips is a table, and this it will have the metadata, and this is the version metadata version 1. So let me go and open that metadata version just to see what is there. So this metadata version is the table for format and the table UUID and the schema for this table, and then snapshot information. There is no snapshots available. That's why it was having the one. So that is what the snapshot version, the snapshot version 1. So let's go and insert some data into the table and then create another snapshot version. So another, whenever there is another snapshot, it will create another metadata file, v2.metadata, and you will see the new file, snapshot file, get created. So let's go and do some insert into the table. I'm just inserting the 3 records for each partition. It's going to finish in a quickly. Yeah, it's finished. So you see that it's created the new v2.metadata, that's a metadata file, and then it's created the two new Avro files. So one is a snapshot file and other is in a manifest file. This is the manifest file and this is a snapshot file. So if we have to relate with our this architecture diagram, it created the manifest file. The manifest file is this one, and then it will create the manifest list file. So that manifest list file is this one. So and these two are together called as a those two get stored, these two information get stored in the metadata file. That metadata file is v2 metadata.json. Let's open and see that. So it will not change most of the things, it will be as it is, but if you see that, it will add the new snapshot information here, and also it will point the current snapshot to this one. So this this way, so what happens is, as per our diagram, we first created the table, it created snapshot one, and now it's created, we insert the table, that snapshot two is got created. Okay, and then let's go and do another insert. So I'm duplicating the same data, but just for the time sake. So let's first query the data and see what it is showing. So let me query the data, and when we are querying the data, so I said this is a standard Spark creation. So whenever querying the data, I'm creating a table called history. So this is the my table name, and then dot history. This is where all the snapshot information gets stored, so we can check the snapshot of this table. And this is the way I'm returning the table data. So let's run and see that what is there in that snapshot history table. Um, so if you see here, the first output is like, whenever uh, I did the insert, right, just for one inserted, that is why it is having an entry, the timestamp, and then snapshot ID, and this parent, because this is not having anything. And is it having an ancestor, is current ancestor, yes, correct. So this snapshot ID, right, this information will be used for querying the time travel data. And when I query the table, it's written only the three rows. So I'm going to insert a run the same the insert table, so that it's going to create some duplicate records. Let me update some values so that we'll understand bg. So I'm just updating the rows so that we can see that new data get inserted. So it's going to done. So it's going to insert the three new records. Yeah, it is done. And if we see that one, it's created another file. This is the third operation, right? v3.metadata.json. And we can open this one, and we can see that the snapshot information gets stored here. So it is have the snapshot section here. It's a snapshot sequence number one. This is the first one created, and this is the second snapshot is created, and this snapshot is shown as a current snapshot information here. So this information will help us to query only the specific snapshot. So now I have queried the inserted those tables, right? Let's go and run this time travel this historical query the historical table and then actual table to see what is there inside it. So this should return me the 6 rows, and this should return me the 2 rows of previous one and the new update. So if you see that one, yeah, it's created the two new one new entry. This is the one new entry, and this is the old entry. And when I query the table, what I'm getting is 6 rows, because I have the 6 rows inserted into the table as of now. Uh, so what if we wanted to? So the time travel feature is, if you see this one here, we have the snapshot ID snapshot, right? This snapshot ID information we can use to get a table status at that stage. So let me go and take this snapshot ID. At this stage, we should have only the 3 rows. So we should see those 3 rows now. So let me go and put that snapshot information here, and then see that I'm going to run the same query. So what is going to do this? The previous query that's always give the latest table data, that is going to give me the 6 rows, and this is the snapshot version that when the first time I created, inserted the data into the table, so that it's going to give a 3 rows. So let me run this one and see what it is returning. Fantastic. So if you see this one, it's created it returned the 3 rows, but the normal query without the version, as a version is returning the 6 rows. The first version is returning the 3 rows, and those, like, we inserted the 3 rows in the beginning, so it's giving those 3 queries information. So this way, whenever you do an update on the table, it will create a new metadata JSON file. That metadata JSON point to a snapshot file, and that snapshot information get updated in these snapshot files and meta manifest files. All this meta information can be used to go back to the previous state of the table, what was happened a few days back. So all this information will allow us to do, like, an example is like end of the quarter reporting, and you wanted to see your table get transition over the year. You wanted to see what was the table stated as few months back, then you can go back to that one. And you wanted to see assume that you have a machine learning model, you wanted to see your model output for a previous data versus the latest data. That those things you can use cases you can implement with this feature of the timetable. So to enable this one, you don't need to anything. We don't need a separate setup. All we need to just create a table. So this is the default setup in the Iceberg, so that it will maintain all the historical information of the table, all the lifetime, the transition of the table data from its inception to the end. It will maintain in this metadata history. Hope you like this video. I'll come up with another new concept in the Iceberg in the next video. Thank you. Bye.